Good afternoon. Welcome to our week 7 of MAT113, Problem Solving Math Investigation Modeling. This is a course under LD Woosley Bethany College. We're now in week number 7. We thank the Lord for this. Though our students are not yet here, so we may continue. Nevertheless, ayan po, may mga dahilan. So tuloy lang po tayo sa ating, by the way, I'll be posting the exams within today or tomorrow. And the deadline is scheduled for March 7. No, March 7, hanggang March 7. Ang major exam. So by the major exam, we are doing this on your time. In your time within the office hours, you could ask me the quiz code. And though it's not yet uploaded, just wait for the upload before taking the exam. All right, so welcome everyone. Even in our YouTube friends, we have some viewers here, so we thank the Lord. Ayan, so I suppose I'll be doing some monologue today, because two of my students will not be here. I don't know. But nevertheless, we will push through with our discussion. All right. So I don't know if, let me check. Okay, saglit na mga kapatid. I'm just trying to check some email here. Saglit na mga kapatid. For a while. Anyway, monologue lang naman ako ngayon. Right? So we'll continue. We'll have a brand new topic. This time, I'll be switching to statistical functions using MATLAB and Octave. Yan tayo. So we'll be discussing some concepts as applied in our platform, Octave Online. So this had been taught to you. I don't want to be redundant on this. This had been taught to you on your different courses. Nevertheless, my purpose is for reinforcement as far as the Octave and MATLAB is concerned. Acknowledging Jeff 76 JMJM. Salamat sa iyo, kapatid. Okay, thank you sa thumbs up, kapatid na Jeff 76. Ayan, I'm conducting my class. This is actually a recorded session of my class in the college. I'm handling some college, but fortunately, some of my students will not come in. That's why we will be. I'll just post a general announcement. Okay, salamat sa iyo, Jeff76 ha. Thank you for dropping by. Okay, we're continuing here. This is a brand new session. This is a brand new item here. This is regarding statistics. So we'll be dealing with some of the key terms here. Though I will not be detailed with the analysis, but rather in its application to the Octave software. No? So, yun po ang pagtutuunan natin. Yan, hirap talaga mag-monologue. Mahirap kumausap on live ng wala sa sarili mo lang. No? So, but nevertheless, life must go on. We need to continue. No? We don't need to postpone this. Wala namang means para i-postpone. No, though yung iba nating estudyante has reasons behind their absence. No? So, depende on how you weigh in those reasons. No? But I believe they are okay. No? Ano naman siya? Excusable naman siya. No? Kaya okay lang na monologue tayo ngayon. So, these are the key concepts here. As far as utilizing MATLAB and Octave for basic statistics, sets, and sorting and indexing. You have mean, of course, the arithmetic mean. There are three types of mean. You have the mean, arithmetic mean, harmonic mean. So these are the sum of the inverse. Now, the inverse of the series is arithmetic mean when you get the inverse of which is the harmonic mean. Yung inverse ng bawat term na yan. Mamaya papaliwanag natin yun. And of course, some statistical concept like standard deviation, variance, mean, median, ascending, descending order. You have other things here that we could learn throughout this course. I might add other courses because I have seen that this topic is limited for a 6 hour or a 6 session. So baka hindi tayo tumagal noon. So I'll be adding some no, eventually. No? Yan. Tubig lang tayo mga kapatid. All right. So let's move down here. So we could look at some of the descriptions. There are a lot of statistical analysis that can be performed on data sets. In the MATLAB software or utilizing our Octave, here, statistical functions are in the data analysis help topic called data pan. Yan. So yan yung command, no? So help topic in data pan. In general, we will be hindi pa yun yung ating gagawin. Okay, we will write a data set in n values such as x is equal to x sub 1, x sub 2, etc. So in MATLAB, we generally represent this as a raw vector called x. So we could, this time, we'll not be using symbolic operation, but matrix operation and vector analysis. Now, for instance, you have consider a set of exam of grades, 33, 75, etc. What is the normal expected average of the exam grade? So there are several ways by which we could interpret. Perhaps the most common is the mean grade, which is found by summing the grades and dividing by the number of items. The result will be 79. Another way to interpret would be the grade found most often would be 85. Okay, and also the value in the middle of the list is 83. Okay, so sometimes we call it the measures of central tendencies. these are values normally found in the center of the data. Ayan, so it could be the mode of 85 and the middle value 83 and the arithmetic average or mean, which is 79. So another property that is useful to know is how spread out the data values within the data set. So yung spread naman, so may kinalaman dito yung we could make use of standard deviation or variance as the measure of spread or variability for the central tendency. Measures of central, because they're somewhat related, no? Those that are found in the central tendency, we could always analyze the spread of the data. The same data set, but we could represent it, we could identify the how spread is the data or how varied is the data. Yan. So these are some statistical functions here. So we could identify the maximum and minimum value of each of the data set. For instance, if you have X, hindi na natin kopyahin yung nasa book. Yeah, for X would be equal to say 1, kahit walang space, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we could always close that in a semicolon. So we could say the minimum value of X, this series of X, would be equal to 1. Ayan. So that's the minimum value. Alright, so the word mean means the minimum value of the set of data that is presented here, or data set. Then of course, we could compute also for the max of the X defined here. This is equal to 10. Alright. So both of these functions also return to the index of the smallest or largest value. If there are more than one occurrence, it returns first. For instance, for the following data set, so 10 is the largest, it is found 3 elements. So, ayan, so tatlo nga lang, no? But the index return is the first element found, no, which is 2. So, pwede nating i-index yan. So, we could always connote the maximum value and of course there are the first element in which it is found, now which is the second index. Yung max index, ini-index niya saan location yung unang matatagpuan yon, the first element in which is found, which is 2. So yan yung makikita natin dyan. So based on this data, perhaps we could change the data now. X would be, say, equal to, so marami tayong data sigurong magkakatumbas 9, 8, 7, 9, 9, 5. For instance, that's your data set. So we could compute the max value, the value, and the max index, yung index niya, kung saan siya natagpuan. This is equivalent to the maximum value. Alright? So from here, the max value is 9, and it is found on the first. The max index is first, or the number 1. Alright? So for matrices with the minimum maximum function operate in column wise by default. So sinesearch niya column wise. No, sinesearch niya column in a column wise manner. So nag-a-analyze siya ngayon ng data in terms of column wise. For instance, sige, I would like to say math. So of course we are forming here a 2 by 3 2 by 3. So wherein we could solve for the minimum value and the minimum index of this given vector mat or matrix mat. That is a 2 by 3 matrix, indicating 135 is the first set and then 603 is the second one. So from here, we could compute, for instance, the minimum value, mean val, and then mean index, mean ind. Yan, it would be connoting the minimum value format. So, from there, makikita natin, if you will observe, dalawa yung values na nabuo. Una, yung minimum value, comparing 1 and 6, 1 is minimum. 3 and 0, 0 is minimum. 5 and 3 is minimum. So, also the minimum index is located here, the first, second, and third row. Yan. First and second row. First, second row. So, where you could locate the minimum value. Now, if I would reverse this into max value, max ind, yan. So, magre-reverse naman siya. Magre-reverse siya, di ba? So, maximum value between 1 and 6 is 6 on the second column. And then 3 and 0, 3 on the first column or row, rather. And then 5 and 3, 5 on the first row. Yan. Alright. So, those are some of the items here. Okay, to find the minimum maximum for each row, dimension of 2, which is how MATLAB refers to rows, can be specified as the third argument to mean and max function. Yan. So mean and max function, second argument must be an empty vector. So for instance, a mean. Mean of the mat, 0 and 2, or empty. And then 2 function. So lalabas dyan yung minimum niya 5 and 9. So we have 5 and 9 as the minimum. So of course we could do this here. For our example, we have minimum values for corresponding rows is 1 and 0. So 1 for the first row, 0 for the second row. Right. Okay, this also, this is, for example, following iterates through all elements into 2 vectors, comparing corresponding elements and returning the minimum for each. For instance, we have 2 values. Then we would like to identify. No, so correspondingly siya. So correspondingly, kino-compare niya ng bawat isa. For instance, if we have x is equal to, say, another 105. And then you have y is equal to 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, say 4. Yan. So we could compare its minimum value by commanding mean, x and y. So from there, ipapakita niya kung ano yung minimum value correspondingly per column. No? So 004. So papansin natin, minimum value for the first column is 0 versus 1. And then 0 also versus 1 on the second column or row. And then 5 versus 4, it's 4 is the minimum value. All right. Okay, we have the sum, product, sum, com product, and history. Other statistical operations, the function per MATLAB can be described by the rest of the session. Now let's look into this concept of arithmetic mean. Now it's an average of the values. The sum of the values divided by the number of values in a data set. So mathematically, it's expressed. Now, I don't know if you could see clearly, summation of x sub I when I is equal to 1 up to n all over n. Now, if you have the frequency, you could always correspond to the frequency. No? So, pwede yan, lagyan ng frequency kung yan ay group data. But this is basically ungrouped data. Yan. Now, we could leave out this programming concept, sooner or later na siguro yan, regarding how to create a mean, your own mean function. So I'll be leaving that to your reading assignment. However, the efficient method is utilizing the function built-in. There's a built-in function for, and this is the word mean. No? So, kung kanina, ano ba yung x natin dito? Yan. So, the efficient way is to solve for the mean. So, this is the math. Okay, and when we compute for the mean of that math, yan, so meron siyang average. So, makikita natin dito. So 3.5 is the average of 1 and 6. 1.5 is the average of 3 and 0. And 5 and 3 and 4 is the average of 5 and 3. So he is computing for the mean for corresponding elements of a column. So kung meron kang 3 columns, meron kang 3 sagot na means. Yan. So I would do this given math, a 3 by 3 matrix. 893, 10, 2, 3, 6, 10, 9. So basically, it's a 3 by 3 matrix. No? We could compute for the mean of math. That's the 3 by 3 matrix equal to 875. So this is per column. Per column. Now we could compute here. Now we could compute also for just the 2. Kasi I think that's the second. Tingnan natin how this works, no? So mean, we have the math 2. And okay, so there's this corresponding no? Let's look somewhere here. So this is more on the second column, I think. So second column. Tingnan natin. Sandali guys. Laruin ko lang ito ng konti. So kapag 1 ang ginagay dyan, that's the original, no? On first column, okay, so ganun yung ano niya, no? for 2. Yan. So we have here 16 divided by 3. So corresponds to 11. Sige, babalikan natin mamaya yan. Yung command na yan. But basically, so we will compute the entire so we could see here that it will compute for the mean, it will compute for the mean for each of the column. Here, column, no? So titingnan natin definition kasi depends sa definition. Dimension of 2 is passed as the second argument function in the case as the middle argument not necessarily for the functions like mean and MAT. Anyway, let's continue na lang. Okay, another concept here is the command length, no? Length. Yan, I just I posted some notes on your group chat, no, regarding delay on submission. I have been very generous in extending some deadlines. So if you submit later than deadline, there will be an imposition of 5% deduction per day. So 5%. So pag makadalawa ka, 10% din, malaki na yun. Ibig sabihin, kung ikaw ay naka-perfect sa pasana at dahil 2 days delay ka, 10% yun. 10%. Ibig sabihin, 90% na lang ang pwede mong score. Ganun po siya. Alright, so yan. Okay, saglit lang guys ha. And then guys, there are some inquiries on my text. No? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Another is our harmonic, the harmonic mean. So we know that the harmonic mean is defined as n all over the sum of the reciprocal of the values. Yan. So that's harmonic mean as specified here. Saglit lang guys, saglit lang. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so we could have here this definition of harmonic means. No? So n all over, that's the reciprocal, no, of subsets. These are the data sets, their summation. So that will define the harmonic mean. So it could be implemented by anonymous function using built-in sum function. For instance, the following anonymous function calculate this. Right? So we could just verify using this the formula here, the variable harm hand or harmonic hand. Okay, so we could do that, no? That harm hand variable could compute the harmonic sum of the harmonic means, the harmonic mean of an expression. Okay. Then the geometric mean. So we could have this definition of geometric mean now by your geom hand. Geom hand naman siya. Yung geom hand. Right. So this is the geometric mean of that particular. So just refer to your notes regarding this. No? Now another, no, this more most likely the central tendency command used in MATLAB. Another is what we call variance. As we define, standard deviation or variance are measures um, of variance or spread of the variance usually defined in terms of arithmetic means. And of course, the standard deviation is the root or the square root of that variance. So for MATLAB, we have a built-in function called bar. Ayan, pwede natin ma-compute yung variability niya. Yung variability nung to compute for variance here. Now, for instance, I would follow again this example. B-Vals has this formula. Then command my bars. My bar is the bar. No, this is the function x vals. So the answer is 2.5. So yun yung computation natin ng variability. In fact, you could do that in your calculator as well. No, there are ways and means where we could solve that using your calculator. Of course, for standard deviation, it's just the square root of the variant. No? So pwede natin siyang sundan. You could assign a particular value called STD. Square root of my bar. No? So pwede yan or STD. STD. X balls. Yan. So, yeah, that could be computed. No? Or my bar. Yan. So, may iba lang yung data dito, but still the same, no? Same parameter whether you compute using STD, diretso dun sa variable, or this could be a square root of your variance. Yan. Okay, let's compare this data, no? Let's compare this data. Okay, x sub 1, clear muna natin. Okay, x sub 1 here has a corresponding data set, 9, 10, 9.4, and 9.6. And of course, you could solve for the mean of that x sub 1. So 31 point, kamali ako. So gawin natin pareho, 9.6 yun. The mean is 9.5. Then the standard deviation, STD, is 0.4163. Alright, so nakikita natin dyan, pareho, papasin natin later on. So take note, the mean is 9.5 but the variation is less than, no? 0.4163. How about this another data set here, which is x sub 2, equal to 2, 17, negative 1.5, and 20.5. Let's compute for the mean. The mean of x sub 2 is basically the same, 9.5. No? Pareho sila ng mean in terms of data set. However, when we compute the standard deviation of x sub 2, this is 10.8704. Unlike your x sub 1, it's just 0.4163, meaning napaka-spread nitong napakalawak ng spread niya. No, yun ng data set D. No, kaya iba-iba rin yung interpretation dito, not necessarily the mean. The less spread of the numbers are, the smaller the standard deviation will be, since it's a way determining the spread of the data. Likewise, the more spread out the number are, the larger the standard deviation. So, yan yung makikita natin. Does not mean that you have the same mean will automatically have the same standard deviation. Unless it will be modeled upon a normal curve. Yun talaga, pareho. Normal curve. Pero not all the time, data would be normal in its distribution. Okay, we have here mode as another central tendency. No? So mode, we could always make use of the term. For instance, we could we define mode as the value that appears most frequently. Built-in is the function called mode, M-O-D-E. For instance, if we'll follow this data set, is 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 10, 9, 8, 5, 10, something like that. And we will compute for the mode of x. Mode of x is equal to 10. Appears most. If there are more than one value with the same highest frequency, the smaller value is the mode. For instance, for this case, since 3 and 8 appears twice, in the vector, the smaller value is the mode. So that's the how MATLAB computes the mode if there are bimodal uh, properties of the distribution. Therefore, if no value is more frequently than other, the smallest value of a vector will be the mode of the vector. Then another central tendency is the median. So we have a function called median also. Yan, so median. So we could compute that. Saglit lang ako. Median of 1, 4, 5, 9, 12. So we could say that 5 is the median or the middle value. Okay, for the case of even numbers, no, where there is no middle, it will be the average of the closest to the left and to the right, just like this. For 1, 4, 5, 9, 12, 33, obviously these are even numbered sets. So wala talaga siyang gitna. Ang kukumpitin niya yung average ng dalawa na malapit po, 5 and 9. For instance, median, 1, 4, 5, 9, 12, 33. Okay, so it will be 7 because it's an average of 5 and 9. So far, we have learned that mean, median mode, and then the variability measures, standard deviation, and variance. Then we have some other maximum minimum value. Okay, so we have a practice here. So pwede nating pag-practicean to. Then we have set operation na pala. No? So madali lang ang statistics. So set operation na tayo by next time. So this will be a short lecture today, fortunately. So what we could try is practice set. Or we could try answering some solution. Pero I will reserve that for them to solve. Oops, medyo ano na tayo. Okay, maybe we could try solving this. Given the data set there, no? Acknowledging one top chat on our YouTube. Salamat sa iyo for your background. So we have here the minimum. Let's compute this. And yeah, we'll try to compute this. Saglit lang guys. Welcome to our one top chat on our YouTube. Salamat sa iyo. Okay, let's try to solve this data set. No? Yeah, I hope this is clear to you. For instance, for vector, say, we call it z, puro x na lang kasi. Say 1, 1, 3, 6, 9. So that's our data set. We'll solve for the minimum value, just press minimum of x. So, yeah, minimum of x is 3. Then minimum value, maximum value of, rather, sorry, not z, not x, but z. Minimum value of z, here is 1. Yan, nagtaka ako, bakit 3 yun? So, nagkamali ako ng type doon. So, dapat z. Because inequate tayo sa z, 11369. Maximum value of z, 9, yes. Then arithmetic mean, we could just compute for the arithmetic mean of z by computing, that's equal to 4. Now, we could have some variation as far as harmonic progression or harmonic mean and geometric means concerned. So we'll have a variable harm hand. So we have some commands here that had been taught a while ago. Is for z actually. The harm hand undefined. Harm and. Dinefine ko siya as harman. So, nagkamali na ako dito. Yan. Then also we could have a geom hand. Geom hand. Geom hand is defined. Okay, so here's the computation for geometric progression. Then of course variance, so we could compute for variance, var of z. Yan, variance. Then the standard deviation, STD, z. Yan. The mode of z equal to 1. The median of z. Yan. So that's it. Tapos na tayo ng statistics. Okay, let's continue here. I don't know if we could answer some problems here. Alright, so tapos na. The set operation, no? This is also important aspects of mathematical computation aside from statistics. No? So I realized konti lang talaga yung statistics dito. So there are several built-in functions. So union, intersect, unique, set diff, set XOR. All of these functions could be used with data sets, and returning vectors are sorted from lowest to highest order. Okay, from here, you could see a particular vector produced from a fixed initial point and the final point, and there's increment. For instance, no? Buray na natin to. Hirap talaga mag-monologue, no? Hirap pag walang kausap. Ayan. Kaya minsan, hindi rin ako talaga nakakapag live kapag ako mag-isa lang. So nevertheless, let's continue. Alright, so if given here a vector, say vector 1 is actually an initial point 6 has an increment of -1 towards 2. So it will produce 6, -1, so meaning 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So the final state is 2. So ganun po yan. And then vector 2 is equivalent to 1 coming from 1 increment of 2 towards 7. So 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay? So 1, 3, 5, 7. And then there's this command. There's this command of union. Returns the vector that contains all of the values from the two input argument vectors without repeating any. So there's no repetition. So we'll just combine the two. So we'll just command union B1 and B2. Here you go. These are the sets contains on the union of B1 and B2. Now there is also what we call intersect or intersection function. Instead, returns all values that can be found in both of the two input argument vectors. So common, yung intersection. All right. So here, the command is intersect B1, B2. Okay. Ay, mali ako ng type. And 3 and 5 are the intersection. Okay, let's another set function here is set diff. Function receives two vectors as an input arguments and return as a vector consisting of all of the values that are contained in the first vector argument but not on the second. Therefore, the order of the two input argument is important. All right. So because there are repetitions here, as we observe, now from the first vector, we have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course, and then 1, 3, 5, 7. There are intersections here. So set the two vectors as an input returns a vector consisting of all of the values that are contained in the first vector argument but not on the second. So yung unique sa first vector. So yung unique, tingnan natin. No? Tingnan natin siya. So kung unique dito, 2, 4, 6. Dahil yung 3, 1, 3. Saka yung 7, hindi naman kanya yun. No? So tingnan natin. Let's see. Set diff. The command here is set diff. Yung difference. No? Of course, the base pack vector is B sub 1. and then it will be compared to B sub 2. So 2, 4, 6 are common, displaying the common of the B1 that is contained only on B1 but not on B2. So kapag baliktad natin yan, B2 and B1 here, so may ibang sagot, 1 and 7. Yan naman yung nandoon sa B2 na wala sa 7. Okay, set X or receive two vectors as an input argument. Return a vector consisting of all of the values from the two vectors that are not in the intersection of the two vectors. Yan. So they're non-intersecting. In other words, it is the union of two vectors obtained using setDim when passing the vectors on different orders as before. So we need to set the union of the set diff. That is the idea of set XOR. Set XOR. Set XOR of B1, B2. Yan. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. So pag inanalyze natin yan, so ito yung union kanina ng 1, 7 na exclusive kay X, B sub 2, yung 2, 4, 7 exclusive by kay B sub 1. So yung union nilang dalawa, yan yung tinatawag natin na set XOR. So pwede rin natin gamitin yung salitang union, the previous command of the set diff of B1, B2 and set diff B2, B1. Yeah. Right. So the same, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Yan, para siyang XOR. Para siyang actually, if you're aware with the XOR gate, no? XOR gate. Sometimes we call the XOR gate as dissimilar gate, because what is in the output of an XOR gate are those dissimilar items found on the input vectors. Kung ano yung kakaiba sa kanilang dalawa, yun ang pagsasamahin niya. Yun ang XOR. Okay? Alright. So we also have the command unique, returns all of the unique values of the set argument. So we're trying to produce a vector tree that is element from 1 to 5 and 3 to 6. So automatic ang increment yan ay 1 kapag hindi natin linagay yung second value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be the composition of vector tree. Yan, medyo mahaba. Then we could say what is the unique value as far as B3 is concerned. So yan. So yung redundant dyan, tinatanggal niya na. Kasi nga unique function. Right? Okay, intersect function returns in addition to the vector containing the result in the intersection of B1, B2 and index the vector into B1 and an index vector into B2 such that the outback is the same as B1 index 1, also B2 index 2. So yan, tingnan natin. No? So kung babalik tayo dun sa babalik tayo doon sa intersect command wherein there is a variable out deck or out vector, yan, equivalent to intersect. Okay, so we have here the index, the out vec 3, 5, then the index 4, 2, and 2, 3. Using this vector to index B1, B2, it will return the values to the intersection. For instance, this expression returns the second and fourth elements to B1. Yun ang ibig sabihin niya, no? So you could just read the notes here, no? Okay. Now, sige, break lang saglit mga kapatid, break lang tayo. I need to take some a water break. Saglit lang mga kapatid. Then we will continue. Titingnan natin yung iba pang mga set commands here. Marami palang set commands. Mas marami. Okay, we will be looking into some of set commands. Okay? So, please stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. Then another command here or function is member receives two vector as an input argument, returns a logical vector of the same length as the first, containing the logical one for true if the element in the first vector is also in the second, or logical zero if it's false. So yun po yung makikita natin. So ang basis natin dito ay yung vector 1. Okay? So we still have vector 1 here. So nandiyan pa rin si vector 1 saka si vector 2. Now is member B1 and whose reference B1 to B2. Okay, so the first member, it's not second part of the second member 6, 5. 5 is yes. And then 4 is no, 3 is yes. So ganun siya, no? Ganun yung is member. Then we could reverse this, B2 and B1. Yan naman. So 0, 1, 1, 0. So 1 is no, 3 is yes, 5 is yes, and 7 is no. Yan. That is member. Okay, another command here is I sorted function, which is a logical one for true. If the argument sorted in the ascending order, lowest to highest, or logical zero for false if not. So kung arrange ba siya from lowest to highest in terms of I sorted command. So we could use, for instance, we still have B1, B2, and B3. B1 is here, B2, and B3. So we will see if I sorted B1. It's 0, so it's not arranged ascending on ascending order. I sorted B3 or B2 muna. Okay, it's 1 because it's chronological, I mean ascending order. And then I sorted B3, it's 0, it's not also ascending order. Okay, there's a question here. Create two vector variables, vec1 and vec2 that contain 7 random integers, each in the range from 1 to 20. Do each of the following operation by hand first, then check it back in MATLAB. So for this case, we'll do it in an octave. So it's from 1 to 20, the range here. So we could set the range for vec1. Yan. Yan. So your vec1. Let's see if we could still answer some statistics problem later. Meron tayong pwedeng mga statistics problem dito. Sige, let's continue here. In fact, I'm just looking at some of the board problems where we could solve. So 7, no? So randomly. Okay, this is 7. Then deck 2. Perhaps I could just arrange this from 3, 3 to, or say 10 to 16. All right. So from there, can we find a union? Union of deck 1 and deck 2. Yan. So union. All right. So there's a union. Yan. A lot of union. We could see a lot of union here. So parang halos lahat ng ano, no? And then intersection. Is there such thing? Intersect. Bet 1 and bet 2. Intersect. 15. Yan. Isa lang. Then set diff. Set diff. B1, B2. Yan. Then set diff. B2, B1. Yan. Ah, no. Vector 1, vector. Sorry. Mali ako. Akala ko pamilya yung sagot. Deck 1, deck 2. Then you set diff. And then deck 2, deck 1. Right? And then set XOR. Set XOR. Right? And then unique. Okay. So, nagkamali ako doon. Ano bang ano doon? So, for unique values, so ito pala yung one vector muna. Unique. Okay. Then unique. Yan. So, may ganun. So, puro unique yun. So, ibig sabihin, walang double. Yan. So, okay. So, that is practice 3.2. I'm not so sure. No? Maybe we could continue here in sorting. That's also the next parameter here. Though. How we sort materials here. Sorting is the process of putting these in order, whether it's descending or ascending. So these are one of the visualization. So for the 6th set, corresponding are the grades. Okay. but we'll be digging on how it is used in MATLAB. The programming concept I will leave to our students to read. So yung sort kasi automatic niya, no? For instance, gamitin natin tong vector natin 85, 70, 100, 95, 80, 91. Then we could syntax error. Ba't kaya? Equal sign. Kamali ako doon. Dami kong mali. Equal sign. Yes, of course. Alright. And then we have sort. Sort vec. Pag sinort natin yan, it will be in ascending order. Yes, ascending order. Now, if we would like to have a descent, there is a specific order that we need to specify in the command sort. We have the vec and then the term descend. Yan. So, ganyan lang siya. That's the efficient way. There's also sorting by column. We're sorting by column as well. Buhay pa ba si Matt? Hindi na yata buhay si Matt. Okay, si Matt ay 462 837 971. Okay, and we could sort Matt or sorts by column. Yan, sinort niya. 489, 367, 127. Okay? So that's sorting. The command sort. Okay, sorts by row. So this time, sinort niya lang yung row. Yung kanina pala naalala ko na, kinuha niya yung mean sa row, hindi mean sa column. Yun. Makakalimutin na kasi ako ng command. So this time, by 2, sort by row. Instead of sorting by column, no? At 2. So, yan. So, yan yung makikita natin. Sinort niya. So, pansin niyo, 2, 4, 6, 3, 7, 9, 1, 7, 9. So, per column yung sorting niya. Ay, per row. Again, I'll be leaving this function to our students, no? Looking at my struct sort.m. Yan, so more on creation of functions. I think pwede na to, manageable na sa mga students to. Alright, we're almost done. Tapos na pala tayo. Yahoo. So hanggang dito lang tayo sa 13.3, no? So tapos na tayo. So by next week, I think we will be adding some more. So from here is statistics, set and sorting. So yung indexing, I will be assigning that as a reading for you. Kasi ito na yung ating no. All right. Perhaps I'll be giving another so yung indexing for your readings na yan, guys, no? Micaela and Hazel. So that's for your readings already. So hindi ko na siya i-aaral. Then I'm thinking of giving you additional lectures here. Yan, for instance, this one, advanced function or something that we could use, no, in advanced function. Baka itong advanced function. Alright. So please take note of that. I'll be lecturing on next week, another topic na tayo. No? So ang niyan, requirement ko ngayon, if you could listen, and if you're not, since you're not around, no, so may mga importante kayong no, lakad ngayon. So from here, so kung 30 siya, okay, you will be working on okay, para madali, multiples of 5 pa rin. Okay na yan. Multiples of 5. Okay, you're doing a multiples of 5 as your homework. Homework for this. No? So, multiples of 5 pa rin. Alright, so yun yung, na yan, to be submitted on or before the midterm examination period. Okay? So, ipon lang ng ipon yan. Ipon lang ng ipon. By next week, Lord willing, I will be looking into advanced functions. Ito munang advanced function. Kung may time pa tayo, advanced plotting technique. So pagpa-plot ng mga functions. No? Magka-related kasi ito. Advanced functions and advanced plotting technique. Okay, so far, yun lang muna. So I thank the Lord for this time. And by next week, we'll be doing that advanced function. I'll be uploading a new material for you. And for that, advanced function and advanced plotting for that function. Okay? So just expect within 1 to 2 days your prelim examination to be submitted next week. So I'll be extending until March 7 the submission of your prelim examination. If it will be uploaded tonight or tomorrow, whichever comes first. Alright? So we thank the Lord for that. Salamat po. At we could have a broadcast. Let's close in a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity where we could continue our discussion. I hope and pray that our students are fine with their respective events that they're attending right now. These are special, and I believe this is also contributing to their ministry. I hope and pray that the students will continue to be diligent on their study. Guide them, Lord, as they continue to serve you. We thank you. We glorify your name. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen. Thank you. See you next week for another session of MAT113. God bless us all, and to God be the glory.